Welcome to Keeper of Secrets Tarot. I am Gypsy Girl, here to bring you another reading for Libra for December 2024. Thank you, Spirit, for protecting and keeping me safe, for protecting the collective and keeping us safe. I thank you, Libra, for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Most of all, for showing up. See, when I cut the deck, when I was doing the cleanup, it split three ways, just like now. With the Fool, and now the World card. The bottom of the deck, Ace of Swords. When I cut the deck the first time, it was the Fool with the Two of Swords. So I was reflecting on taking that step forward and waiting for the right moment to do so. Wanting to make things clearer, or waiting to make things clearer before moving forward. Here we see the World card with the Ace of Wands. So coming to a conclusion, ending up of a cycle, having that just desserts come in with Ace of Wands. New beginning. Libra, you're looking forward to something new, something starting up, finishing up a cycle. Well, we are at the end of the year, so good things are coming. You're being rewarded. Using the Witch's Tarot, it's a new deck that I'm working with and liking it so far. And for the Oracle, I'm using the Witch's familiar runic oracle. So for advice from Spirit, I just want to shuffle one more time. Again, it's splitting open. Let's see. With the Seven of Swords. So you have a strategy going on here. New plan of action. Which is a good thing. I mean, considering it's the Seven of Swords, but it is the one card. Cut with the Fool again and the Star. So the focus is on a new plan, a new beginning, that Ace of Swords. Just feeling the need to shuffle one more time. Sorry, Libra, but when I'm called to do it, I must. And I'll cut one more time. It's a 7-card spread. The first card is random cards are chosen in this spread, and the first card is your past bringing into present day, what you've been through and what's brought you to this day, what this moment brings. And here we see the Justice card. So we saw the World card, and that brings the cycle to an end, and being that cycle is coming to an end, bringing in just deserved, something well deserved. Justice is being served, and you're feeling it, or you're understanding it, being that it is your card. It is the Justice card, leaning in with Libra here. So something that you've worked on, something that you've said, something that you've done is bringing in the repercussions now, and it is merited, because when we see the World card and then I see Justice, it means that something that was done has come to fruition, and it's paying out, or being paid out to yourself or to another. But either way, justice is being served. It's karmic. It cannot be avoided. I just want to see how the cards lay. Oh, you can see fine. Okay, so we have the second card here, being that this is the present. It is the Hermit. So again, we have Libra, we have Virgo. We're dealing with healing and serving and education and wisdom, learning from mistakes, learning learning from being within, learning from going within and seeking out. Here we're coming out into the light. So whatever it is that we've done and that's brought justice in, it's serving for others, helping others, and in some cases healing. Either way, it is wisdom. You're coming out the wiser from whatever experience you've had that you couldn't avoid. And this brings us to the future, where we're looking at the Six of Cups. So memories, we're looking back, we're looking into what we really love, what makes us feel good. That sense of nostalgia, where we're able to look back and reflect on what has happened over the past year, because now we're at the end, and of course it relates to that emotion of what we feel about the self, the experience, others. It's reflection. It's a reflection off of what we've learned and what we love. There's a harmony that's coming forward because of justice coming in and understanding whatever it is that we went through. We're making peace with that, within the self and with others. And here is that Two of Swords that came out earlier. And this is action to be taken. So we want to clear things up. We want to smooth things out. We want to make a choice, make a decision, or we want to wait. In some cases, this is action to be taken. We're looking either to wait for the right moment, because we saw this card earlier and it was with the Fool. And in other cases, it is to make that decision. It is to do the right thing. Again, pertaining to how we feel and what we remember from a situation that we've come to terms with, or we've learned something very important. Could be about ourselves, could be about another person, could be about just life in itself. And here we have other people. I got two cards. So we have other people and the Eight of Wands. So for me to take both, I would have to say that this would be the obstacle, and being that this was the first card I pulled, it's the Four of Swords, and together that would be a Six of Swords. So we want to make peace. Again, harmony, being that we're going in with the emotions. So it's an emotional state of mind that we want to reflect and have a conversation, or at least share our thoughts with another person. And here is where this is other people who want to either speak to us or who are holding back from speaking. And the obstacle would be this card. So that sense of communication or distance, long distance travel or short distance travel, it doesn't have to be far away, but being that we're far off of having a conversation, or we're looking to master something here, and because we're needing to speak, or someone is needing to speak, and again this refers to other people, so it depends on your circumstance. If it is that you're holding back from communicating, or you're waiting to communicate with another, or they are waiting to communicate, either way, it is a choice that we have to make with another person. And this could mean travel, or could be that the obstacle is distance between you and that person, or the communication is not coming across, or there's an obstacle, or we don't want to talk to each other for whatever reason. I mean, karmic dealings here, pertaining to love, or pertaining to how we feel about the person. But there is healing that needs to take place, and finding that balance in harmony with our thoughts, with our words, with how far away we are from them, being that distance seems to be the obstacle here. The final outcome is the Four of Pentacles. So it's a question of knowing the worth and having that sense of value and the relationship in itself, that what we want to talk about or what needs to be spoken of is it has value. There is value in this relationship, or at least that is the idea, that there is love there, and we're holding on to, or we're holding back from, waiting for the right moment to communicate and shorten that gap or eliminate the gap altogether, because we can't seem to let go of this connection here. It seems that there is to be continued communication, but it's being stalled for whatever reason, or it has been stalled. But then there is value in this relationship, and it is a question of communicating that with the next person. And then at the bottom of the deck we have the Four of Cups. So changing that mindset, and again it's another four, so it's finding the balance and accepting what is, and accepting that the conversation that needs to happen will bring in peace, and there's that elixir just waiting to be had, and the distance between you and the next person is going to shorten, because again the value there, and the holding back and holding on and finding that wisdom from the experience that you've had with the person. It'll either bring you closer or push you further apart. That's really the choice that we have to make here. Do we want to continue with this relationship because we're not satisfied, or we're looking for the satisfaction, or the communication in itself will change and bring in the satisfaction to heal that what it is that seems to be dissatisfactory, because there is wisdom here. Something has been learned, and this is where the conversation or communication or dealing with our feelings needs to take place. And again, it is being communicated, whatever it is that was not satisfactory, and waiting for that moment to speak and share our thoughts and bring in what is valuable to this relationship. Here we have the Queen of Wands, who will most likely be the one to step forward on this. It could be that you're dealing with a fire sign, or you yourself are taking on that leadership role to step forward. Somebody has to, and that's what Spirit is asking here, that someone step forward, whether it is you or the next person, whether you are giving them that time and space to make the first step, or they are contemplating to make the first step to come back, or they're just contemplating on moving on and being determined to move on, because again it can go either way. It depends on your situation too. Then we have the two of Wands, so bringing it together into a 3. So you're probably dealing with fire signs in general, because it is that determination, if you're not dealing with a fire sign per se, but taking on the attributes of the passion between you and the next person, because that is what needs to be healed. That sense of adventure, that sense of wanting to move forward, and deliberate action here, to be deliberate with making plans, changing plans, and waiting for the right moment to speak. And then we have our 9 of Swords. So again, it's a question of holding back, because we don't want to overindulge. You see, this is where it's a delicate feeling coming in here. We're waiting for the right moment. And then we have the King of Wands. So you may very well be dealing with someone who has a lot of fire in their chart, or looking to start afresh and take on the attributes of the king and the queen, if you're really not dealing with fire signs. I mean, take it as it resonates. And it's the king and queen of wands, and they're very determined to have a relationship, and someone is very sensitive to what has happened in the past and looking for a way to maneuver and heal that what was dissatisfactory, whether it is from the Queen of Wands or the King of Wands per se. We want to take on the attributes that, again, if it's not dealing with fire signs, it's the attributes of how to address whatever it was that took place, with being able to determine when to speak and what to say, because it's coming from the King and Queen of Wands, if you understand what I mean. Again, it really reflects on who you are dealing with and what it is that you need to share between you, and what was learned from the relationship in itself, that both of you are on the same level of wanting to step forward and carry this relationship to another level, because that's what's showing up with the King and the Queen of Wands. They're very determined to see progress happen, both of them. And that is where the harmony will come in, because you both want the same thing, and you both want to overcome whatever it is that took place that couldn't be avoided. Again, only you will know what that pertains to. So we'll just take an oracle message from the Witch's familiar runic oracle to see what Spirit offers as advice to help you overcome that obstacle of really connecting and communicating with each other, because that seems to be the obstacle between you. Let me take a random card here, and it is the Lagus, which is the seahorse. Very emotional. Again, it's pertaining to what was learned about each other or the circumstance that you were both in. And then we have the Tiwas, which is that eagle, again carrying the sword, so a sword of truth, dealing with what you have between you. Let's see how this plays out. We have the Lagus. Let's see where the Lagus. It's quite interesting, this deck. It really brings out, every story is different, and I appreciate that. So 42. Let's see if I can see here the Lagus, the seahorse. Floating in the great waters, this tiny seahorse feels the currents, ebbs and flows in this great universal ocean of life. And in her softly shifting dream state, she knows the unity of all life and the connection that flows through past, present, and future. In her world, water is everywhere, pervading all things, the living energy source of everything. She is a symbol of the unconscious, of invisible life forces, the dream state, and hidden aspects of the self. So dealing with how you feel about the relationship between yourself and another is going deep within. Again, it is karmic. You couldn't avoid this relationship, and understanding what it is that took place between you. If it is that there was a rift, you wanted to come back, wanted to start up again, or start over, or start with someone new, depending on your situation and what really took place between you, because some lessons were learned there. Guidance comes from that strength and I say strength, but it is understanding, that knowledge, the strength in understanding what you experienced with each other. You had to go through it, and remembering, again, dealing with how you feel, it determines here what is to be said, and if that gap will be annihilated or you go further away. See, choice. It's a real choice that needs to be made here. And the Laguz is a powerful rune in the way water is powerful, fluid and ever-changing. It calls you to release the struggle and go with the flow. Spend time in meditation and allow your deeper intuitive state to speak and to guide. Laguz reminds you that on life's journey, not all can be controlled, and change is the only constant. Without change, life becomes stagnant. Again, this is why there is justice being served here. Something took place between you and another person, and you've learned and grown from it, or you should have, with the hermit showing up here, and then triggering memory and making that choice, having to choose to continue or to move on, or to heal and come together and talk about how things were or how you feel about each other, to be able to open up again with that gap, to close that gap so that you can both share in the value of this relationship, because there is value regardless of what took place. It is up to you to determine if you want to continue or start over. See what the Tiwaz says here. It's really beautiful where you have to sit back and think about the next person and consequences to actions. And that would be the 34. See, from the greatest heights, the eagle has a balanced and broad perspective of the world, liberated from the tight personal viewpoint of those on the ground. He is able to see the true lay of the land. He is privy to the universal and cosmic ordering principles that, with higher consciousness, bring true and beneficial law and justice to the world. So we have justice here and we have justice here. So again, it is unavoidable, this relationship. You can't just split and be gone. There's a memory that ties you together. There is that wanting to speak, but wanting to be sure before you commit, and wanting to overcome and have that determination to deal with whatever it is that wasn't right or hurtful between you, because there's a lot of truth that needs to be explored and facing that and seeing the bigger picture and being able to get together on the same ground and take that leap of faith. Again, it could be relating to solidifying a relationship, but you have to come together. And this is what the obstacle is here, that communication and sharing how you feel. Tiwaz has the righteous warrior energy. Honor is its defining quality. With this rune comes the promise of a good and just outcome. The scales will be balanced. You might be asked in a position of leadership to make personal sacrifices. Do what you know to be right, as courage and a worthy cause will be victorious. See, it reflects back to the Justice card and what was learned from the situation or issues or circumstance that you were put through, and seeing the value of the relationship. So again, if you're looking for should I, shouldn't I? Yes, you should. And Spirit is asking you to think clearly and take your time if you have to. And if it is that you know you need to wait for that right moment, you'll know when that right moment will come. But you must choose, and you must open up and share, and share what you feel, and go with the emotion, and be balanced in being honest. Let it come naturally, because there is love there. This is future. This is the future card. So being able to recollect about what took place in the past and see that there is love in the future with whomever you're thinking of or have had a karmic dealing with. It is coming to a positive end. Libra, on that note, I thank you for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Until our next read, love and light.